All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast.
We rebranded like a year ago.
Unbelievable.
2 years ago.
This happens. I'm so ready for this episode.
I'm not restarting.
There's fantasy football, American football going on. It's in the biggest part of the season, the last stretch. Arsenal's top of the table. It's just a great day, bro.
I have something to say. I just can't.
43 seconds.
I'm trying to let you finish. I was gonna say it's like Shannon Sharp calling what's his face? What's the guy that he's with now?
Skip Bayless?
No, he's not with Skip anymore. That's where I'm going.
Been a long time.
It's with
Max Kellerman.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Can we restart? Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, that guy.
It's Shannon Sharp calling him Skip.
No, for sure. Did that happen?
Yeah, he's done it multiple times since he switched shows.
This is not the Fantasy FC America podcast, soccer podcast, whatever we used to be. We are FPL America. My name is David Smith.
Travis Oig.
Brian Shesko.
And gentlemen, forgive me for my shenanigans to start. It has been a long, fun-filled TV watching. Some good games, some bad games, some things I've never seen before. Type of an American Thanksgiving weekend. And it's over, and then it ended with some amazing Premier League football with some crazy results. And we're going to get into it. We're going to dive right into it. And no more shenanigans. I've already had enough. There's a million things I could have talked about because so much has happened since last record. I said this at the end of last pod, but in case someone didn't hang around that long, because like Brian would say, why would anyone ever listen to us? Travis, if anyone notices what you're seeing on YouTube.
Do as I say, not as I do.
For sure. And this, not only, we have like our own little recording studio in Travis's basement, and not only with the mics and the soundboard and the lights and all the other work that you guys have no idea what he's done to make what we had always hoped to have happen. He's done it. And Travis, I just want to give you credit off the start. I should have done it last week. I got distracted because I had so much to talk about because I had missed the week before.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So all that being said, bro, thank you. You get all the credit for all of this.
You get one can of soda, which you got on your table. So thanks for doing all that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
I am wearing
a nice prize.
My because I don't have any good headphones. I'm wearing my wife's headphones, which I think she's kind of passed down to my daughters because they eventually hurt her ears. I don't love how it makes me look like I'm wearing like a hat, like the white outline. Maybe bald guys aren't supposed to wear these types of headphones, although Travis's look normal.
They're kind of like snow bunny type earmuffs.
For sure. I feel like that, so who knows?
I think wearing a sweater right now.
Who knows?
I think they're pretty.
Hey, listen, we're having a throwback to the Fabregas Van Persie Arsenal kit in the house today. First on the table are Arsenal. We're not going to start there.
How many times? How many times is he going to say it, Dave?
I would have set the over at probably 3.5.
We're going to start with second in the table and third in the table, Manchester City and Liverpool. The crazy Premier League schedule makers decided to put them the first game off the international break. Complete insanity. It should have been the Sunday main game of the weekend. Instead, it was the first, so it was a wild kickoff. Was Haaland going to start? Is all the other guys who are traveling so much going to start? Liverpool had like 19 guys out on on international break. City,
sure, holiday.
City, yeah, not holiday. City had almost no one go away on their international break because they all of a sudden had Travis convenient injuries.
It was a little weird, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. It was weird, Travis, until I noticed the lineup for City, and then I looked at their bench, and when I looked at their lineup was fine. Their lineup was totally normal.
Bench.
I look at their bench, and they got 3 defenders: Stones, Gardeval, and Rico Lewis, although he's kind of a hybrid, on their bench. Then they had Calvin Phillips, defensive midfielder, Oscar Bob, Sergio Gomez, 2 goalkeepers. I'm like, oh my gosh.
What happened to their depth?
Where is their depth? Okay, so hold on. Just let me keep going for a second, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Liverpool, on the other hand, so then City plays the whole game, 0 subs.
Which is also odd.
Really odd. Coming off international break on an early game, Liverpool uses all 5 of their subs. Their depth, I felt like that was excellent. And all the guys they brought in could have started. So the game ends 1-1. Holland captainers gets theirs. Salah captainers, hey, he still got an assist. Not bad. And it ends 1-1 as an Arsenal fan, what I was rooting for. I was rooting for a draw.
Yeah.
And so but it wasn't the best game I've seen those two teams play. But it was
a fun game. As a neutral, I would imagine it was very entertaining.
It was, but it wasn't like, I guess it just lacked a little bit of quality, but maybe that's not fair to say. Both teams are amazing.
It wasn't just spicy enough for you?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean,
so
there were some cards late. Anyways,
that's true. So were you looking for a Michigan-Ohio State type rivalry game?
Yeah.
With that being the same week, were you geared up and just girded for?
This is not a college football podcast. As a Buckeye fan, it was a tough watch. I was with League Aaron, who was at my house, big Michigan fan, and we had a good time. Unfortunately for him, it was too good of a time, but it was a good football game. Came down to the end, and probably the better team won. I mean, I didn't expect Ohio State to win, and but I didn't want them to get blown out. I thought it was a good game, and like I said, I think the best team won. I think Michigan's a better team this year. So their quarterback was a difference. When you have an immobile quarterback right now in college football, it's tough to do things, and McCarthy for Michigan was excellent. Now, that being said, this is not a college football podcast. I just felt like I needed to get that out
just
there.
Just a second.
Back to City Liverpool. I just feel like it was a good game. I just don't feel like we learned much. Brian, are you about to tell me that I'm wrong?
That's not a bad point.
You guys keep going.
Oh, did you have something to say, Brian? I'm sorry.
No,
please.
Look.
Honestly,
for anyone who owns Trent,
all I'm saying is
no one.
All I'm saying about this game is that you learned like 2 things. I honestly feel like there are 3 things worth talking about.
Wait, 2 things or 3 things? Make up your mind.
You did say 2 and then 3.
You learned one important injury thing, and there are 2 other things worth talking about.
Okay.
You're not doing anything about if you have Holland, you don't have Holland, whatever your decision is. Most people have him. If you captained him, you're a chicken, but you're getting points. Salah is Salah, and he got you something late.
Right.
You're not doing anything about him either. I think the whole thing about this game was Allison pulled a hammy, and he's going to have a scan.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I still haven't heard anything yet.
And Klopp hopes it's not serious. So that's the best that you have on it.
Kelleher's good, though.
If Kelleher comes in, everyone is like...
He's also just back from injury.
Everyone is, I think, it makes it really easy for you to get to a really cheap goalkeeper if you find out that Allison is out for an extended period of time.
That's
Kelleher
true.
Is 3.9. The only other thing, the only other question I think is Trent. I mean, that to me is the only other thing worth talking about, and I feel like we've already addressed him in the last few weeks, because the numbers have been fine. It's just that this time he gets you a goal.
Right.
That's it.
He was definitely much more influential this week than he has been all season. This looked more like what we were talking about last week, where he was dominating at the end of last season. And
right.
Where is that? This was that type of play.
You're right. That's fair.
It was very, very similar to the type of play that he was putting in at the end of last season, which is interesting that it came against City. I honestly, from a tactical perspective, had no idea what changed to make it like that. The positions he was taking up seemed to be more defensive. And when we were talking about this last week, I was basically saying, well, he's not able to roam as much because he's got to get back because they're fragile. That wasn't the case. He sat back so much more this week than he did in any week prior for this season. So I think that there's definitely a lot to be seen as to whether or not he can reproduce this type of game. But if he can do it against City, he can do it against anybody. The question is he going to? Right now he's 8.7% owned. I said nobody owned him. That's more than I would expect
Yeah.
to
Those are
have him.
probably dead teams.
I was gonna say,
I'm
do you
kidding.
Do you think so?
No, I think
you're probably not wrong.
No.
A good chunk of those probably are.
maybe half. I still think there's probably people who are owning him. I just question why, but
Yeah.
I just don't think this is gonna happen often. If you want other ways into the Liverpool defense, I think there's cheaper, better ways. I obviously, like Brian, you said last week's pod, if you're counting on offensive returns from defenders,
Yeah.
I think you're
What
playing
are you
the game
doing?
wrong. No, just that 4 of the last 5 games, you wouldn't have been mad about having Trent in your team. Because I mean, this we said, like, you know, even once he had 2 weeks of returns, I think that's when you're like, oh, maybe there's something picking up here.
Yeah.
But he's at a 6, 5, 2, 7, 8. That's his last 5 games. 4th in defender scoring since game week 8. He has taken 10 shots. Only Mykolenko has taken more than that. So
Okay.
Mykolenko from Everton has 11 shots since game week 8. Trent is second to him. He's 4th in chances created. So 9 chances created since game week 8. 3 big chances created. Probably could have done even better than he has, in that time. So
it's just he's 7.9.
that is the only
billion
thing.
pound dollars. It's
But-
so much money.
But he's got Fulham and Sheffield next.
Yeah.
You got to think he's got options. You know, if he's going to put something in, he's going to put something in against those guys.
Trent's in no danger of you're not swapping him
Hey,
for
I
someone.
thought Matip
Yeah.
had a good game. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I mean he's solid enough. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean
He had
he's
a
not
couple
flashy.
dribbling runs where guys didn't think he'd keep going,
He
and
breaks
he
the
just
lines
kept going.
often.
It just seems
He
like he was active.
Goes on
And
adventures.
would you say he's going to start the next 2 match weeks?
Konate is healthy again, so it's hard to say.
He started the last 2 games.
Matip is
in
old.
Brentford and City.
You have to remember, Matip is old.
Is
And
he
so
over 30?
Yes. So they don't want to give him a lot of minutes because then he gets fragile, and so I think rotation is probably going to happen.
He's 32.
And Konate is the preferred
Okay.
center back partner
So,
for Van Dijk.
the advice would be
I
don't
wouldn't say go that
don't
route.
go there.
Unless the only actual defensive asset that you'd be really looking at if you're looking for an actual defender is Van Dijk. But
Just because he's reliable.
because he's gonna
you
play
don't
every
know
week.
if it's going to be Simicas or Gomez. You don't know if it's Konate.
and Alexander Arnold's so expensive.
And TA is expensive.
If you have something as a Trippier owner, something that I think is a viable strategy for how to get
Interesting.
Trent is if you have Trippier
Swap 'em.
that you go up to Trent and you drop Trippier down or someone else down to Lascelles.
Okay.
Because
Which sounded crazy when Lascelles had that blinder, but
Right.
him scoring this week is
and you
not bad.
I think the schedule kind of warrants it. Newcastle's upcoming fixtures aren't they fine? I feel
They're
like
They're
fine.
home United, at Everton, at Spurs, home Fulham.
So 2 of the next 3.
This-
I
this
mean,
Newcastle's.
depending on how you see this seemingly improved Manchester United, whatever, Spurs are probably
Look tougher to beat.
Spurs are going to give you some offense at least, you think. But other than that,
Okay. All right. So again, City and Liverpool. That's where we're at the moment.
I mean,
what I'm saying is like I think you feel better about having a 4.1 Lascelles on your bench than hoping that 6.9 Trippier gets you a return.
or 7.9
or in a
Alexander
tougher
Arnold.
matchup
Yeah.
where Trent, at least you say like, no, these are the fixtures you target. Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah.
It's at least not crazy.
It was good. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I'm glad it was a draw, not a loss for Liverpool.
No, it's
City
a
looked
good
more
away draw.
dangerous.
It's a good away draw for Liverpool.
City looked more dangerous. I'm glad to see that Erling Haaland found the net, even though it took a gift. But yeah, it was good all around.
It did take a gift.
Dave, I
was a
can't
gift.
believe you didn't lead with Doku.
Dribble around Doku?
Yeah. What did Doku do in this match, though?
He had 7 completed dribbles that resulted in nothing.
No,
I mean,
he had 12 completed dribbles
That
that
was a lot.
resulted in 3 bonus points despite
Yeah.
not returning in the game.
It was a little. I was really shocked at that, honestly, because from a game perspective, of course, obviously
Well-
he looked like he was going to do something, but he didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And so that was really
Except
odd.
Fill the stat sheet. That's all he did.
Dribble around Doku and fall down Phil. Those are the guys you want to
Hey,
own.
I will say, I watched a couple of Phil Foden's runs, and I was expecting him to go down. He stood strong. I was really impressed. I don't know that he didn't earn the fall down tag in this match. I will give him that.
That's fair. No, Brian, your point's valid. I would have never thought Doku would have been a stat filler. And when I saw that he was getting bonus points, not being on the score sheet or assisting,
you got to be happy about that if you own. You own him, right?
Doku?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, there's no way he owns him.
I couldn't get to him if I wanted to.
I thought you owned him early.
No.
You just like talking about him like Neto and never own him?
Oh,
yes, that's
another one of those.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Coming at you.
Yeah, add him to my list of players who I admire from afar. No, four chances created, 12 dribbles. He drew 2 fouls. He had 4 tackles. Which is fantastic. He had a clearance. He was 89% accurate on his 47 passes.
All right.
And he put in 3 crosses.
I
Looked dangerous.
will say
But it didn't result in anything.
I will dribble around Doku. I'll kind of keep my eye on him.
But who scored? He's the man of the match by a mile. He is the highest rated player in the match by a considerable margin.
That's weird.
The issue with
this
Doku
is the first time, so I'll be like, oh, okay. Can you do it again?
The issue is it's minutes. If you look at his minutes,
did he need
Grealish?
It's 18 and 70, and then 20, and then 90.
With the injuries that they have right now, he's getting minutes. He's going to keep
Grealish
getting
had a
minutes for
cough. So if Grealish is healthy, does Grealish
Pep
play?
say Grealish was vomiting?
I don't know what he said.
Oh, really?
I think he was actually
Well,
real sick.
I don't wish that on anyone, even
Right.
Jack Grealish. I like Jack Grealish, actually.
So the one thing you brought up, Doku, I heard this in commentary on this match, and I hadn't heard it before. I thought it was hilarious. Apparently, Doku came through Liverpool. They were interested in signing him 2 years ago, and he had a good visit. He was a Liverpool supporter. It was a dream move, big deal. And all of a sudden, Liverpool went cold on him. They just went cold on him, and he didn't know why. He couldn't figure out why. And so he had been in the news and talking about being interested in the move, but it not materializing for whatever reason. Come to find out, the reason Liverpool went cold is because Doku kept talking about Chelsea the entire time he was there. He was talking about Chelsea this and Chelsea that.
Why
and
would he do that?
Liverpool was just like, well, I guess he doesn't want to come here. He wants to go to Chelsea. Come to find out, his sister's name is Chelsea. And it was a misunderstanding.
This cannot be true. Is this true?
It was in commentary. I have no way to substantiate it, but I think that's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
A horrible.
And this is before all the stuff from this summer with Liverpool and Chelsea. I think that's hilarious. And if that's actually true,
Brian,
what kind of clown show are they running?
I mean,
at Liverpool right now,
I'm sure
that's
there is a way.
crazy.
That is some clown stuff.
That is insane.
That someone told someone, hey, he just keeps talking about this Chelsea.
Like, what? I think it's hilarious.
Bro, that's his sister. All right.
The last thing on Allison's injury, I wanted to say, I think it's hilarious. The reporting, the Evening Standards, their reference
highbrow
of it. It's just, they said Allison looked to have suffered a hamstring injury, which could see the keeper ruled out for anywhere between a few weeks to the rest of the year. But nothing has yet been confirmed with scans.
Scan results all
coming.
The bases.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Hey, game recognizes game.
Covering his bases. That's true. No one's straddling the fence like that reporter.
He could be 100% fine.
Sure.
Or 0% available
it could flatline
for
at
the
any
rest
moment
of his life. We'll just have to see.
Oh
tomorrow.
My gosh. Hey, real quick, gentlemen, personal question here. Alvarez, I own. Either one of you own Alvarez?
I do.
I do not.
So his last 4 match weeks, 2-2, 5-2.
Great point.
I'm just trying to figure out what to do with Mr. Alvarez. He doesn't warrant an exact sub out. I'm just like, Brian, what do I do with that? Like,
he was invisible this week. Absolutely.
I mean, would you rather own Alvarez or old Dom at the moment?
That's the thing. Like his stats were.
Which one?
Dominic Solanke?
Dom Solanke. Now here's the thing with Solanke's last 4 matches, 2-2, 13-2. So he's 1 for 4 as well in the last 4 matches.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Alvarez was, I mean, he took a couple shots. He created 3 chances. He's there.
Okay.
I mean, he's doing stuff.
Alvarez or Isak?
Isak.
Isak,
Yeah,
for sure.
No,
Okay,
no question.
so right now
We'll get to that. I have a whole bunch about that for Newcastle that you have a lot of questions around that one. But if it's just
don't worry, we won't let you talk about it.
in a vacuum, it's Isak, and it's not close.
Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1. Brian, your boys in the black and white.
Wow, why are you jumping there? All right, fine.
Isak opens the score line. It just felt right. In the 13th minute, Raheem Sterling evens it, showing me a skill I didn't know he had. Holy crap, what a kick. Free kick, I'm serious. Jamal Lascelles, as an owner, super pumped to see that goal go in. Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon then finish it out. Newcastle stomps on Chelsea's neck 4-1. And Chelsea gets another red card. Brian, can you please tell everyone about Reece James?
Yeah.
Just as everyone was starting to believe a little bit, he's talking about how good he feels, and I mean,
he's gonna feel real good next week.
Look, I can't say it didn't cross my mind.
I'm sure.
As I'm looking at Matty Cash sitting there on my bench, because I benched him this week, and I'm thinking what's the point of having him?
Yeah.
There's Reece just a little bit. He's
There's
just
Reece.
0.3 above old Matt Cash. No, just 2 yellows, and he apologized, and he's the captain, and he's stupid to do that.
He apologized?
Yeah.
That makes it better.
Doesn't that
forget it?
That changes everything.
It's all in the past now.
With Isak, first of all, I just want to say good management, Eddie. 80 minutes, get him out of there as soon as you can.
Probably could have got him out sooner.
You're right.
What's the phrase? Wrap him in cotton wool.
Yeah, 3rd best XG per 90 among all forwards this season.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
So, and obviously there's a lot of people who played his amount of minutes, around 500 minutes. So, but either way, only Darwin and Holland are better XG, and you see what Darwin's doing. I mean, Isak is.
Who?
It's just that when he plays, we said this already. If whoever it is, Newcastle striker is one of the best, probably the second best player in the game. It just has been that way. The 2 big questions: first of all, can he survive this fixture pile up? Knowing that Newcastle have a million things, and they're playing Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. You get a full week basically between Tottenham and Fulham, December 10th to December 16th. And then another full week before Christmas. But then it's Tuesday again. And in the meantime, Newcastle I'm sure they have Champions League. I did not add those in there.
There's Champions League this week.
It's going to be, I think
Arsenal plays midweek.
Right. So you have at least 2, probably, I think at least 2 other matches sprinkled in there. And Isak's their one,
their one striker.
Because that's the second question. Is when Eddie Howe said that Callum Wilson was going to be out a number of weeks, what number is that? So Callum Wilson himself, he was on a BBC Footballers podcast. He said it was days ago. He said, "I've been working hard. I shall be back soon. I can't give you an exact timeline on that." Of course he's not going to give. Why would he? He's not going to give a time. He might know that it's next week. But it just doesn't seem like that. He also said this, and I think this is the biggest issue, and this applies to Isak too. Callum Wilson said, in the first 8 weeks of the season, I played around 300 minutes, and then in the last 3 weeks, when I was playing and Alex was injured, I ended up playing 400 minutes. That's your answer right there. That was Callum Wilson's exact words describing because part of what he was talking about in the context, it was the question, I think it was with Mikel Antonio, and it was the question of, it's because you guys, you can't handle the additional Champions League matches. It's too much. And Callum Wilson basically said, that's crap. I'm not, I don't want to hear that. I'm telling you, we have 11 players, and he kind of said what Trippier said. These are guys who are used to playing a lot of matches. We just got hammered by injuries. We have 10 or 11 guys who know how to play the game, who like all got injured at the same time. Yeah, it's a big burden on everybody.
Speaking of which, and I mentioned Chelsea's bench. First of all, Newcastle had a guy. I'd never heard of him before. I'm like, what's that? Who's number 67?
Oh, young kid.
Lewis Miley, 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Who
assisted Isak's goal.
Yeah.
Premier League doesn't have a picture of him. I go to their bench. Chelsea had 2 goalkeepers. Newcastle have 3 goalkeepers on their bench for this match, along with
Just to make up
4
numbers.
other players with no picture.
Yep.
Okay.
Get some pictures, Dave.
All I'm saying is when someone says who is playing for Newcastle, right now, that's a very, very valid question. All that being said, I was super pumped seeing Jamal Lascelles. And then, look, any day Chelsea loses, it's a good day. So Newcastle hammered them, and, Chelsea started a different team. Caicedo, Mudryk both started on the bench. They both subbed in. Madueke subbed in the 87th minute.
I like that.
Madueke.
I like Madueke's good.
Madueke.
Uh-huh.
So for whatever reason, I don't like the team he's on, but I do like that guy, and he got subbed in. So good for him.
Dave, 3 straight returns for Raheem Sterling. Are you ready to apologize yet?
What's there to apologize for?
This is a bit annoying.
It's that he's been so harsh on Raheem Sterling. I just feel like he should
rough
at
on
least say.
All right.
At least he should scale it back. That's all.
I have been harsh on Sterling up until 3 weeks ago, and credit to Brian. He's right. He had only gotten any returns all season against Burnley and against Luton. The first 10 matches of the season. And first 11. And then against Tottenham, City, and Newcastle, arguably the hardest stretch of the season,
yeah.
he gives you returns. So that's fair. He could have turned it. It looks like he's turned it around.
Whether you want to say sorry or not, Dave, on paper, I
don't think I have to issue the apology yet.
It's not even on paper. The people have spoken. His price went up.
Yeah.
So whether you want to apologize for it or not.
Is this the apology worthy?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's good.
I would never. I would never. It would have to be something way more significant.
Look,
He
I
scored
gave
a
him
free
credit.
kick goal against Newcastle.
I'm super.
It was a nice goal.
I was impressed with his goal. His free kick goal. I was impressed. People are moving to him, and honestly,
it was such a good goal. It was a legit question why Reece James took the other pretty close free kick that he ended up.
I wondered the same thing.
Kicking into the stands.
Who red card Reece?
This guy's a machine.
I mean, look, if I was Sterling, I'd be upset too.
Uh-huh.
Why is red card Reece taking my kicks? I
Because
just
he's the
scored
captain. He
one.
gets to make those decisions.
Not if you got a red card, you're not a captain.
The on-paper issue is that the fixtures, according to the color-coded rating system, the fixtures have not turned yet because they play Brighton at home next week, and then they play at Manchester United the week after that, which are gray and red, according to the fixture rating system. Just like to say that Brighton is 11th in the league in XG from open play.
Okay.
XG against from open play. They've actually allowed 17 goals. So they're even though they're 11th, 14.21 XG against from open play, they've actually allowed 17 goals. Manchester United is actually worse. So why Manchester United is red rated when they're actually worse in goals allowed? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, for the last couple of matches, Manchester United has been pretty solid.
They're super tight.
I mean, all it takes is one slab head, right?
It's not like it's
all it takes.
I don't know what to say about Brighton and Manchester United. I think Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea attack has kind of turned a bit of a corner. If anything, if there's one thing about them that has gotten a little bit.
Are you
better.
going to anyone?
No, you're still going to Cole Palmer, but even though he was disappointing this week, I'm saying that even after Brighton and Manchester United, which I wouldn't be concerned about those fixtures anyway.
So are you still going to Cole Palmer even with Anthony Gordon on the table, a similar price? Obviously, Cole Palmer being a penalty taker is a huge, pro and column item. But Anthony Gordon has been much more consistent, I guess, is the word, hasn't he?
Yeah. First of all, he's the number one midfield transfer in so far.
Is
Anthony Gordon.
Okay.
Also pointed out almost everywhere you look, Anthony Gordon hasn't blanked at home this season.
Really?
Not one blank. Not one blank at home this season. And I would say too, there was kind of some nervous reporting out there about Harvey Barnes' return to fitness. I mean he's on the grass, but they're taking it easy. He had a toe injury, so to me it would take a major drop in form for Gordon. Plus, Harv's got to get back out there. There's no danger.
I never like owning guys.
No danger of that
injuries
whatsoever. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that Gordon has no, I wouldn't think twice about it. And yeah, that's a legit question.
Okay. All right. I don't think there's anything else we need to cover in this match, Brian. Let's move on to the next. I feel like we need to go. Hold on, you're pointing like
no. It's just it depends on how far back you go. I think Cole Palmer's numbers are still just generally better.
Yeah.
Than Gordon's.
And his price.
His price is better too.
And his price is still better. So more assists, more shots on target. Just pick an arbitrary number.
Palmer's numbers are better.
Yeah, Palmer's attacking numbers overall are.
And he's on penalties, and Gordon's
better.
not.
Right.
All right.
Gordon's not in any way a bad pick. I just think I still would probably lean toward Palmer. And yeah, that was the other stat that was thrown out there too. This is the first time since game week 4 that Cole Palmer hasn't had a shot. So that's a
don't panic on Palmer.
No, why?
Especially if you already own him.
All right.
Yeah, go to that. I think the big question is what to do. To me, Lascelles at 4-1 with again no timetable given, no suggestion of a timetable. Sven Botman is not right, and everyone keeps talking about Eddie Howe keeps praising Lascelles. Lascelles keeps putting in legitimately good performances. I just don't know.
And he's scoring every week,
every single week. Count on it.
Jokes.
Write it. Pen it in.
All right, Villa 2, Tottenham 1. Upset of the weekend, or is it? Aston Villa goes to Tottenham, and Brian comes away with a win. Giovanni Lo Celso gets Spurs on top.
Brian does? Me?
What did I say?
You said Brian. You said Brian comes away with a win. Is that what he said?
Did I say that? Who knows what I'm saying?
I'll let you know.
Villa comes away with a win. I think I was saying Brian Giovanni Lo Celso.
Yeah.
22-minute goal. And then right before the death of halftime, Mr. Pau Torres.
I don't know where.
Gets a great header.
Corner.
And then Ollie.
Free kick.
Ollie adds one and finally gets back on the score sheet. What, for me, as an Ollie Watkins owner, it feels like forever. I know it wasn't. Brian, Spurs lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
What's going on? Other than the fact that they're decimated with injuries and red cards.
60 back.
62% possession. 564 passes to 324.
Yep.
18 shots. 8 shots on target. Forced Emiliano Martinez into 6 saves. They hit the woodwork twice.
Yeah.
Son had 3 goals ruled out for offside. You did have a penalty claim. Brian Hill took an elbow to the face.
Did you say, is that how you pronounce his name?
Heel. Yeah.
Heel?
Yeah, it's not Gil.
Man, I'm glad you told me that.
No, but
Serious.
it got glossed over. VAR and the officials just kind of threw it kind of right out without really, it seemed like not a lot of discussion about it. We would have found out who the penalty taker is. Could have probably confirmed for sure that it's
Son.
Assume it's Son that's doing it, but whatever. He would have at least found out. Plus, Matty Cash, this is what Spurs fans have pointed out and what Spurs reporters have pointed out. This is the second time Matty Cash destroyed Matt Doherty a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
Didn't even get a yellow card in that game, but it took Doherty out for weeks. And this is another one. Why everyone was furious because he did it on Bentancur, who's just come back, and now Bentancur's probably.
I will say this: I think the Spurs, and this, no offense, Spurs fans, I think they are going a little bit crazy on this. Looking at the replay, they're all like mad dogging this guy, like he's doing this on purpose. But looking at the replay, like it doesn't really seem like he's got like the sights set and he's trying to destroy this guy. Like, it's definitely a bad tackle. It's definitely a foul. It should have been a yellow card. I don't see him as, like, trying to end people's careers out there.
No, for sure. I don't think he's doing that. And also it was hilarious of all the people to get the most angry about it, that they would show Christian Romero having a big reaction. Like, okay, guy. Yeah, sure. You're really upset about it. No, I don't. No, not at all. I don't think he's trying to. I don't think that it's an intentional. I'm trying to end careers here. However, like again, another week where Matty Cash doesn't last much longer because they know, like to make a tackle like that, you're out of control. So yeah, of course he gets hooked at halftime. Now and probably mostly protected by players on his way off the pitch at halftime.
Two things on that. Matty Cash, in spite of this crappy performance, clearly a crappy performance, 0 points on the week, he played in midfield.
Yeah, that's what the right away everyone was like, Matty Cash at right wing. This is not our drill. And it was a bit of a drill.
It could be interesting if he played. It could be interesting moving forward. So there's that
45-minute drill.
So the second thing is, you mentioned Christian Romero. Something struck me when I was watching that match, and I'm curious if you guys agree. Does Christian Romero look like Scott Stapp to you sometimes?
Who's Scott Stapp?
I can see that from Creed, lead singer of Creed.
Every time I see this guy, his little pouty lips, I just think, is that just a South American Scott Stapp?
If you put like Scott Stapp's
long hair,
mid-2000s hair on him, yeah, it might work.
Right?
It might work.
Interesting.
I couldn't get that picture out of my head.
This is not a Creed podcast.
Someone want to Photoshop that.
I like it, though.
I'll work on it.
Travis, are Spurs fans a little too upset about not getting calls when they've gotten their share of calls?
See, that's a bait, and I won't take it.
Come on.
Here's the thing.
Have an opinion.
They're passionate, and I won't fault them for being passionate.
Are they being whiny baby pants?
At the end of the day, I will say social media has been very vocal when it comes to Spurs fans saying their feelings. And you know what? That's their right. As someone who has been wronged many times, this season in particular, let them say their piece.
Fans can say what they want. We've already the week that you weren't here, it was something we talked about, is that Ange himself says, I don't care. I've been on the receiving end of good calls and the receiving end of bad calls. Just play the game. Yeah. We respect the officials. So the last person you're going to hear complaining about it is the manager. What's disappointing is, and the reason why everyone afterwards, like Kulishevsky and everybody else saying, like, we're real mad about this because the numbers demand that we were the better team here.
Yeah.
We should have put this game to bed in the first 30 minutes. Like, the numbers speak for themselves. Like, you saw it. I mean, it was wide open. Any of those like they said, even at the beginning, they said it could have been 3-2 in the first 30 minutes. Both sides had good chances, but Spurs had a lot, and they had a lot more. So it's not it's just I think it's just disappointing results. It would be different, I think, if it was disappointing football. The criticism was on the one manager criticism was against Ben Davis for not pushing up fast enough.
Yeah.
And for not moving the ball quickly enough to get back into attack. So even in a game where it's like, I know Men in Blazers said it, like, had mentioned, like, Spurs fans, like, do you wish they were maybe a little more, like, that Ange was a little more pragmatic? Like, when you have the lead, or when you have a lead, or when you're trying to protect points, do you wish that maybe he backs off a little bit? And I'm like, I don't know. I think it really might be like, he's serious. We are this. We're going to be this.
Yeah.
at all costs. We're going to do what we do best, and I demand this of my players. Yeah, it just happened that all of the first, however many games were, there was no loss in any of them, and now there's 3 losses.
Agree. Villa, last 11 games, 9-1-1. Villa's 4th in the table.
Yeah, they're crushing.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And look,
against the run of play in a lot of those matches too. That's the thing. They're grinding out wins.
Straightforward. Look,
Yeah.
I was pumped at that. Look, last week I needed some Villa guys to kind of cash in for me, not Matty Cash. Douglas, Louise, and Watkins. It didn't happen last week, but I got returns from both of them this week, and so I felt pretty good. Look, fantasy-wise, I had a great week, Brian, and I'll take it because I don't get many great weeks. I moved up the table in the mini league, and I was able to turn in a 60.
That's a huge score.
It felt like a larger score. At the time, it didn't feel like it. Then I started looking at everyone else's points. I'm like, oh wow, that's actually
fantastic score. Yeah, Dave, I was going to say, to me, the only 2 Villa players worth having are Douglas Louise and Ollie Watkins.
I agree.
I wasn't really keen on going to Diaby anyway. I don't think
Travis, you still on Diaby, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to move him this week, but I'll probably move him.
Yeah,
it's not a necessary move.
Absolutely not. And even Matty Cash this week, unless you find out something else.
I'll just bench him. Like he's on my.
Yeah.
He's
getting minutes. He's 4. I'm still have him at like 4 something.
Yeah.
So
you could, depending on when you got him. Like I know I can take one more price drop on him before I will lose all the money that I've gained on him. You could have done what I did a long time ago, which is double up on the Villa defense, which is the really, really...
Pau Torres?
No, Luka Dean is still on my bench. Yeah. Nothing is more hilarious to me than the whole world having Matty Cash, and it's Dean. Pau Torres.
Yeah.
No, not Dean. Nobody had Dean. It was Matty Cash only.
I think Elliott had Dean, but I think he was on his bench.
But Pau Torres is the only defender to get a return in like the last 100 weeks or whatever it is. Would you sell... because this is a question. This is just by looking at schedule. Would you consider after Bournemouth selling your Aston Villa assets,
all of them, including
Ollie Watkins? Manchester City, they play at home. I get it. I think they play them at home.
It is. It's they play both City and Arsenal at home.
Yeah, so it's City, then Arsenal, then Brentford. So the next 3, I would just say you look at and you're like,
yeah,
that's not fantastic. I can give you a counterpoint, Dave, if you would like to have that.
Well, I might hold on to Alvarez, and I might end up doing an Isak for Watkins after
I looked at that.
Here's the thing, and so there's 2 sides of this, and I'm not sure how you want to fall on this, and the whole world. It's however you want to read this, you can do what you want to with this information. City and Arsenal are 1 and 2 they're the number 1, number 2 defense.
Best defenses. Okay.
So if you take it just by expected goals from open play, City's actually second. Arsenal's first now.
Okay.
So an XG from open play of 8.39 for Manchester City and 8.20 for Arsenal. So your top 2 defenses, best 2 defenses in shots allowed. These are like clearly the 2 best defenses in the league. But since 2020, Ollie Watkins has scored twice against Manchester City. So it has happened before.
Really?
So and one was last season. He scored last season against them. Arsenal, honestly, it's weirder if he doesn't score against Arsenal.
Okay.
Since joining Aston Villa in the 2020 season, he's scored in 4 of the 6 matches that he's played against Arsenal.
Man.
Including a brace against them in November 2020. So Ollie Watkins does have a history against your guys.
What value does any stat like that have really?
I don't know.
It always perplexes me.
It's got value.
It's different players. It's different.
It's something me and my brother Matt always talk about.
What is that?
It's like Christian Eriksen doesn't score goals unless he plays against Watford.
Like
Something crazy. And every
Right?
single time he
Well,
plays against Watford.
Yeah, it was Harry
he
Kane. It was
scores.
Harry Kane against Leicester. It's
Luis Suarez against Norwich.
Yeah.
Right. It was
Weird.
it was De Bruyne against your guys. Like his returns against Arsenal for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He's always had his best games against
What
Arsenal.
drives that? That's so strange.
It is,
because the
and
tactics are different year to year.
The players are different year to
year
year.
to year. It's
I just want it to
very
be. I just
strange.
want it to be heard here first
No.
before they play Arsenal in 2 weeks.
good
Ollie
knowledge.
Watkins has scored 4 goals in 6 games against them.
Fair enough.
Since 2020.
You might have just changed my mind.
And then Brentford, like they're middling. Like Brentford defensively is like they're I don't know. They're like
Liverpool made
mid-table
them look.
defensively.
Liverpool made Brentford look pretty pedestrian at Anfield. Arsenal had a tough time with them this week.
So this is at Brentford. So it is an away
Yeah.
game for Villa, but Brentford's actually a little worse at home for shots allowed per game. So they're allowing 13.7 shots allowed per game at home.
It's because they
On
go-
the road, they allow 13.3.
Their fans push them on. They play more open at home. That's why. On the road,
We talked
on
about
the
that a
road,
little
they're
bit last
trying to
week.
shut it down a little bit.
But Ollie Watkins, he's only scored once against Brentford in the Premier League since 2020, and it was last October. Villa blew him out 4-0, and Ollie got the last goal. So to me, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I don't know how to read Brentford. I feel like Brentford's a weird team to kind of to predict this season. Like you would have looked at that big run of losses and draws that they had where you're just like, that was as good of fixtures as they were going to have. And it just like, it felt like it got worse and worse for them.
They have been stacking up some decent performances the last couple of weeks,
Yes.
All right.
So-
After Heung-min Son turned in a 14 and a 10 in match weeks 9 and 10, he is giving you 3 2s in a row. Is this worrisome if you're a Son owner?
If you watch the match, no.
No, because he got 3 offside goals.
Yes.
He probably banged in the post.
I know.
He was horribly unlucky in this match.
No, I was going
right?
to say that which side of how do you want to
Yeah.
read it? Do you want to look at he didn't score 3 goals, like he was offside on 3 goals, like he didn't get you a
they were so
return,
close.
or he was so close to scoring 3
They were-
goals.
right.
Like this game should have been
They
his
were
goal involvement should have been
Coin
ridiculous.
flips.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not worried about
A
it.
couple of
Do-
them.
do
One of
you
them was
own
really
him?
far.
Son?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I-
Travis, do you own him?
I do.
Hey,
Okay.
people have seen enough. He's 3rd most transferred out for midfielders right now.
I think that's more about Tottenham than it is about Son.
It sounds like it's what have you done for me lately, though. He's got 3 no returns, but like both of you said, if anyone watched this match, that's insanity.
The Spurs,
I
to
don't know,
me,
insanity.
like,
I
let's-
understand it.
Lo Celso gets the goal for Spurs. I think you can maybe ignore it, although he's 4.8, so you like the price. And he did have a really good game here. So he gets a 10. The goal was a deflected goal, but it was a great hit. And Lo Celso,
You got 3 bonus points.
3 bonus points, and his role's not going anywhere. So that's the thing. It feels a little bit different. I think
He's got
Sarr
124 minutes this season, and 85 of them were this week.
Right, and that's
Like,
because
that's-
and this is like they talked about it. Ange talked about it. How he talked Lo Celso into staying. Lo Celso could have gone whether loan or completely sold, and he talked him into staying.
And they didn't play him for 10 weeks.
It's one of no. It was. I think it was all.
weird.
I think it was all Madison, and I think now it was. I think substitute appearance last week was his first minutes,
Yeah.
and then now if Bentancur's injured, you already have Madison out. Bentancur wasn't even coming. Like Bentancur was coming in because Yves Bissouma, like he was filling kind of Bissouma's role, and Bissouma will be back next week. So that's like to me, like this is somebody
This
who
also might get minutes.
yeah, he created 3
Keep an
chances
eye.
in the game. I just think Lo Celso is like, if you wanted to go real wild on a midfield
It
choice,
sounds wild.
it's not insane.
Why him and not Brennan Johnson? What's Brennan Johnson listed as, a midfielder? Or
Yeah,
a
he's a,
is
forward?
listed
he's
as
a
a
midfielder. I think it's just that Lo Celso is cheaper, and Lo Celso, I just think you probably have a little bit, because he's playing more central, I think you might have a little bit more option for
Okay.
where you could get the points. I'm just saying it's a Mavericks choice. It's a true crazy choice. It's Pedro Porro that's the guy.
I can't own that guy.
Listen, Back-to-back assists.
Another punchable face. Add him to the list.
Yeah, and Lo Celso. They both, between the two of them. Back-to-back assists for Porro. A bonus point in each game despite conceding 2 goals in each game. Since he started game week 2, so he has started every game since game week 2, he is the 5th highest scoring defender, so 50 points since game week 2.
Yeah.
17 shots since game week 2, which is second only to Matty Cash. He has 4 assists. Only Trippier has more than him. He has 22 touches in the opposition box, which is 7th best. He's created 18 chances, which is 5th best. He has 6 big chances created. Only Trippier has created more big chances than Pedro Porro. To me, Porro, he is at 5.3, he is a buy him and forget him defender. Like, there is no, like, you don't even, I don't know that you need to even, I don't know that you bench him. I wouldn't be, based on what he's actually doing for them and the amount that they are pushing forward, I don't know that it really matters. We said it even weeks ago when it was a question of Porro or Udogie. His numbers were so far beyond Udogie's in like actual performance and what he was actually doing. It wasn't close. And now he's like distanced himself. Really, like attacking wise, it's like Matty Cash. Creatively, it's Trippier. And then after that, it's Porro by the numbers.
Why not Zinchenko? 5-0.
I want Dave to talk about Zinchenko when we get to Arsenal.
I don't know about his minutes. Pedro's.
That's exactly it.
All right.
I would much
all
rather
the other
own
stats.
Pedro Porro than Matty Cash. There's only one other
for
name
sure.
that I would
that's
throw
fair.
in there at the moment, and I'll do it maybe in a few minutes.
Hey, can I since I didn't get to do it last week, can I end this thing with Alex Moreno?
Yes.
For the record.
I think it's hilarious that we made such a big deal about that, and then you totally didn't
I
even
thought-
talk about it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because you guys censored me. This is a censorship
Like
podcast.
you did talk about it, but then I cut it all out of the
In a segment I like
episode.
to call "Don't Tread on Me."
Oh Lord.
Last season, Alex Moreno played 1,300 minutes. Okay. He started 14 games after game week 20 last season. He scored 72 points. He was the 8th best defender in fantasy after game week 20.
Okay.
He was 4.5 when he came in. So he was he was an unbelievable buy for his price. He had 4.85 fantasy points per 90. It was the 3rd best total per 90. Only Trent and Estupiñán had better ends of season than he did last season. He was 4th most for touches in the opposition box. He did it in 1,300 minutes. Everyone else that played ahead of him, minimum was 1,700 or 1,800 minutes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is the reason why I was so ready to talk about Alex Moreno all the time is because he actually did put in one of the best defender performances in the second half of last season. It was a very unfortunate injury for him, and all of it doesn't matter.
So when's he gonna see the field is the question.
He hasn't played yet this season.
When Luka Dean, so he's fit, he's been on the bench. It's when Luka Dean has some down performances, and he hasn't had them. Dean's been very good. Dean, if the Ollie Watkins goal, the first goal that Ollie Watkins scored, which was ruled out for offside, would have been a Luka Dean assist.
All right.
I'm just saying, Dean, even Villa fans that have been saying, like, we need a change. Dean's getting tired. We're running him into the ground. Give Moreno some minutes. He's not getting the minutes. Like, this is a Unai Emery move. This is not fans probably would have done this weeks ago. It's not happening. Dean's locked down the position for now.
All right. Arsenal, top of the table. Arsenal.
Is that even in the shot?
It's in the
Oh,
shot.
there it is. It's in the shot.
I love that.
Arsenal,
I love that little cannon.
1.
Pew 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 pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Arsenal 1. Brentford
Shooting the tiniest,
0.
the
Arsenal
tiniest little
leaves it
cannonballs.
late. Leaves it. What kind of English is that? Arsenal leaves it late. Kai Havertz comes flying in from a Bukayo Saka assist, who is double teamed all day, Brian. We'll get to Saka in just a minute. Arsenal end up winning. It wasn't the greatest game, but it was a grinded out style of a game that Arsenal needed to win. Raya was not in goal. Ramsdale was. Ramsdale had 2 big first-half blunders that probably should have resulted in goals and didn't, thanks to Declan Rice and Zinchenko, I think, at different times, clearing balls off the line.
Should have been
How fast?
Should have been 1-1 at least.
How fast?
You guys lucked into another
Yeah.
clean sheet.
How fast does a fan base turn on someone, their darling?
Thankfully, well, you can't put in performances like that. Now, second half was much better, much more normal and calm.
I mean, he's been sitting on the bench in the cold for how long?
Exactly. How much can we really expect it to happen? But, hey, bottom line is Arsenal got it done. And I will say this. Arsenal's offensively has not played as well as they have last season.
Not even close.
On the other hand, their defense has been much better.
Yeah.
And so
The difference is Gabriel hasn't made the field.
Some people would say, Brian, what?
The difference is Gabriel hasn't made the field.
They even did it without Ben White this time.
So,
Is he still hurt?
yeah.
What happened?
I don't
They
think
came out
he's
of nowhere because
bad
it was
hurt.
like,
I think
where's he
they're
at?
just giving him a couple days off.
Guy
never
who
gets
knows?
hurt.
He's going to come back even more tan.
Who knows what it is? It could be.
Oh,
that
he's
it
definitely hitting the Tannabed.
It could be like Odegaard, where it was like, yeah, he's dealing with a muscle injury. Oh, and he also had a concussion a few weeks ago in practice, and he's been dealing with that.
No one knew about that concussion. I never saw that on any of the Arsenal feeds anywhere.
That's something.
He probably read about it.
My
in the newspaper.
sources
He
were
didn't know.
sleeping on that 100, as the kids say.
Dave, I have a bunch of questions for you.
Hold on. I just wanted to say one more thing.
Okay, finish.
How does it feel?
Finish your point.
My point being is, Brian and Travis, you both know in American sports, you can have the best offense you want. Offense doesn't win championships. What does? Defense.
Buying the
Seriously, though, last season, Arsenal's coming down the stretch. What failed them was their defense. And they choked it away against teams that they should have beaten.
Do you remember when you had to come back to draw Southampton 3-3? Is that the worst? Was that the worst day of your life?
No, it was the Newcastle and Crystal Palace back-to-back losses that were brutal.
All right, was that it? Can I ask my question?
Yes,
now?
I'm ready now.
First, Dave, Raya is 4.9. He is only in 4.3% of teams, and he is currently only the 5th most transferred in goalkeeper. What in the world? Why are more people bringing in Onana?
Onana's
Well,
all right.
Sure.
United is coming
And the
off,
clean
I
sheets.
think, of 3 clean sheets.
I just told you that 2 seconds ago, Manchester United is about to play Brighton, and then who did I say was the other team?
Chelsea, Newcastle.
I think it's Chelsea and Brighton are their next 2
So,
games.
Onana,
No, United is Newcastle, Chelsea, Bournemouth.
Oh, Newcastle, Chelsea, Bournemouth. Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Onana-
I want
Clean
Onana
sheets
for
and-
that.
they're not keeping clean
Onana
sheets.
is
Maybe against Chelsea.
4.8, but second in goalkeeper scoring.
Boo.
Raya is like maybe 11th in goalkeeper scoring, and is way down the list.
So what?
I get it. I mean, he didn't play well. He's got a lot less games. If we did points per minute, I wonder where it'd be because Onana's played 5 more games than Raya. So do some averages here. Fast
Do it
math.
per 90, Dave.
Per 90. I don't do fast math like that. Look,
When did Raya start?
Raya started in match week 5.
Did he play any games before that?
None. And then he played every game up until this
So
last
game week
one.
5, game weeks 5 to 12.
5 to
I'll
12.
look it up. So I guess my question is, so that's my first question. He's 5th most transferred in. More people had brought in Allison prior to even now. I think the
Jeez.
numbers are still Allison's 3rd most transferred in, which that's crazy if you've already done that. Dave, second question. Saka's real life numbers are not good.
I know. I know.
But who
But
cares? He keeps getting
He
one
keeps
assist.
What is
What
that?
say you?
Look, I think he's carrying a knock.
He's got to be, right?
And they keep double teaming him. I mean, and Brian, we were watching the match, and what was happening? Odegaard and Saka kept occupying the same spaces like that one guy.
I know.
That you said
I gotta
brought
track
up.
that down. I gotta find.
Like,
I gotta find that.
It didn't
Arsenal.
happen
It was
a
an
ton,
Arsenal fan.
but all of a sudden we're watching. I'm like, Brian, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, they literally were passing on the sideline and they were literally standing next to each other. That's something that they just got to fix. I don't know why that continues to happen, but at this point, it is what it is. I do think he's carrying a little bit of a knock. And at some point, maybe they should probably rest him. And I just don't think they're going to.
They needed him for this match.
Just don't think they're going to.
Just so you know, game weeks 5 to 12, points per 90 for goalkeepers. Raya 4.38, Onana 4 even.
Okay.
So
is
points per 90.
I'm just saying that in games that were actually played since the games that Raya actually played. That at the same time that Onana played them, he has outscored him by 0.38 per 90.
People are seeing a 1-0 clean sheet against Fulham, a 1-0 clean sheet against Luton, which shouldn't have happened, and a 3-0 clean sheet at Everton. That's what people are seeing at the moment.
Right, the last 3 games.
Also probably shouldn't have happened.
Agree. Now they're going into...
Yeah, how many more shots? I was
going
to say, how many more shots could Everton possibly...
We'll get to that one.
Anyways, all that being said... I own Saliba and I own Saka and I own Turner and Areola, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my goalkeeper thing has got to change. And who knows, maybe I should make a move to Raya.
I have the exact money right now. It would be a -4. So Eze's going to be out for weeks. At least that's the reports now. I can go Eze, Matty Cash, and either Areola or Turner out, and bring in
Johnstone.
No, Raya, Zinchenko, and there was and Mbeumo. That would have been 3 moves. So that was my question about that. I mean, Zinchenko's a fair point for sure.
Why Raya though? I mean, obviously you were just.
I think it's entirely based on what I said to a little
trying
bit
to
ago.
go to him
just
with a -4.
So that you can't trust Areola for anything. So Areola's
yes.
Matt Turner's not starting anymore.
Yep.
So either goalkeeper is expendable to me. Raya is about to go on a fixture run that is home to Wolves, at Luton, and I get at Villa, probably not keeping a clean sheet there.
Probably not.
Home to Brighton. I don't trust this tired Brighton attack playing in your stadium.
Yeah.
I just think the next 4,
3 out of 4, he's got a shot.
Reasonably, you expect 2 clean sheets, depending on how you see.
It's tough to count on any clean sheets right now, but those matchups,
attack.
Travis, you'd agree, would lend itself to it giving you the best possibility of a clean sheet.
Better chance than getting one from Areola, I'll tell you that.
I mean, look,
they're struggling.
It feels like a Matty Cash to Pedro Porro and Areola to Raya. It might be 2 moves I do this.
And there's a lot of that's the thing. There's a lot of options. I've talked myself into at least 6 options so far just tonight.
If I want to make any reasonable moves, I'm gonna have to take a hit. I do have 2 free transfers, so I'm gonna really be twisting this thing for all it's worth. This week.
I'm not gonna bring Pedro Porro in this week because they're playing City next week. Bad mojo there.
For sure.
That's not happening.
I don't want to do it either.
I'm gonna keep it on the radar.
I do want to say about Brentford, and everybody's screaming about Mbeumo, but their fixture turn legitimately is fantastic.
Yeah.
Other than the blank that's coming up in 5 weeks, Luton, Brighton, Sheffield, Aston Villa is your next 4. After the blank, it's Wolves, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham. That takes you to that takes you to February 3rd. Not only
in a really good spot coming up.
Not only Mbeumo good for that, but look, like Flecken is a top 5 goalkeeper transfer in here at 4.5. If you're going to do a defender, I would just say Pinnock is the only safe choice for defenders for Brentford. He's in the top 10 for attacking stats, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you really care about that. His XG actually is only second to Matty Cash. He's 1.94 XG for the season. So Pinnock is the guy. We've seen it before. I think we've maybe even talked about it this season. He does get into those positions as a defender. He's at the post a lot. He is a set piece threat. So he's one of those guys, and he's good for bonus. He's tied with Kyle Walker. He's 7th best for bonus points on the season. So like the overall number is maybe not great for Pinnock, but that has more to do with Brentford just they're not a clean sheet defense.
Would you support Brian a move Embuemo to Bowen this week?
Embuemo to Bowen?
Bowen to
Oh,
Embuemo.
Bowen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Only if you find out that Bowen is officially not playing.
He's fit right now. He's got yellow triangle 50%.
That's an orange triangle, Dave.
Orange. He's home to Palace, and that Spurs. Bowen in the same. You just read Embuemo's. He is next two fixtures are home Luton at Brighton.
I'm really hesitant to sell Bowen because I want to just because it went from it's not a big deal to he might have fluid on his knee and he might be out in an extended period of time to it's not as bad as everyone is afraid it was to David Moyes saying he might be available for Burnley. We'll see. And it was a game time decision.
Okay.
So he didn't make the bench. I'm sure that they didn't need to put him on the bench. They didn't need to do it. Who's scared of Burnley? Anytime you see Burnley on the schedule, if anybody is a doubt, I don't think they're going to play because why would you risk a guy who's a potential injury risk? Like, why would you do that against a team like Burnley?
Touche. All right. Well, all I know is this. Arsenal's top of the table, and Saka and Raya, Saliba. I think that's probably – I'm going to keep owning Saka, Brian. And you're right. The numbers don't say I should, but at this point, I don't feel like it's a transfer. A lot of people own him. His ownership is at least over 30%, and he just keeps finding a way to produce. And he's on pens, unless he gives them to Odegaard. So there's
He's probably on pens.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
all right. Next match.
Your favorite kind of penalty taker.
It is true.
Probably
I love
a penalty
probably.
taker.
Yeah. Manchester United 3, Everton 0. The result that I never saw. It also produced, and when I saw it, I put on our Slack channel, the goal of the season just happened. And Alejandro Garnacho, assist from Dallo, turned in a Wayne Rooney style bicycle from the top box to the upper 90, and it was absolutely one of the sickest goals I've ever seen. And then, if he wouldn't have just hit the sickest goal I'd ever seen, ran to the corner flag and did the Ronaldo, which he totally, if there's going to be one time in your life you're going to try to pull off
Get away with it.
The Sui, it was there. I loved his reaction because it hadn't set in what he did yet. And it was, you could just see the surprise on his face, like, did that just happen? And the kid hit just the most sick goal I think I've ever seen.
He looks like Jamie Tart. I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that. He looks exactly like
Definitely.
Jamie Tart.
Well, so it's funny.
A little bit.
As it happened, I'm like, I called my son in, and I'm like, "You've got to see this. Get in here!" And he comes running in the room, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, what's that guy's haircut?" He just starts bombing on his haircut. It's not the best haircut, Garnacho, but your foot was deadly.
It was a shin, but
there's
you know.
that. Whatever.
No group of people on earth scarier than teens.
Oh, no kidding. Rashford, 56-minute penalty, and then Anthony,
which was interesting.
Anthony
that-
Martial.
Thank you,
Who?
Bruno
Yeah,
Fernandes.
Bruno gave him the penalty. That's got to be a confidence booster, right? Like,
Yes, for sure.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
So there
Dave,
it is. And then,
you just need to ask the question: who didn't score for Manchester United in this match?
all right. All that being said,
Højlund
did any
didn't
of
score
that
'cause he didn't
movement light a fire in any of you boys for anyone other than Dallo on the Manchester team?
You tell me what you like about this schedule upcoming for Manchester United. You tell me how many of these you like. Newcastle, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Liverpool, West Ham, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest.
I like none
Maybe
of it.
two.
I like none of it.
I like Bournemouth
Oh,
at
it's
home.
at Nottingham Forest. So no. So Bournemouth at home
Bournemouth
is
home.
literally the only one that you like there.
At
right?
West Ham, depending on what kind of they're not really.
They're
not
tougher
in
at home,
They're not in
though.
turmoil. That's the thing. They're
Yeah,
just in a tough. It's a tough season, and they're powering through it.
They're tougher at home.
Whatever.
But Bournemouth at home is the only one that's really
All right.
a matchup you'd expect
So, I
them
mean,
to win
you like
with no problem.
You like a few of those for the defenders, I guess. Bruno, a bit matchup proof just because of what he's
Yeah.
just, he gets an assist in this game. The last 3 weeks, look, you want to pull the last 3 weeks of stats? Yeah, they're awesome. Dallow, Lindelof, McGuire, all three, they're in the top 5 defender scoring for the last 3 weeks. Of course they are, because they got clean sheets. And Dallow's, I think he scored, plus did he have a 10 this week, I think?
12.
12. So, yeah, of course he's going to be one of the top scoring defenders in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, they got 3 clean sheets. That's good.
But you're not going to them.
No, that's the thing. The Dallow creatively, 6 chances created in the last 3, which is third best for defenders. You like that. I mean, if there's something to like, I guess that's one of the things you can
But
like.
who's putting the ball in the net? Garnacho has not done this every other opportunity he's had.
So Højlund has a muscle injury. He was not out. He was not available this week. You can't count on Anthony Martial to do it. I don't know that you're ready to count on. I don't think one penalty goal is going to get Marcus Rashford going, but hey, what if it does? I mean, maybe that can be a thing for
it's
him.
unlikely.
Hey, Luke Shaw was back. That was something.
He actually looked pretty good too.
I was going to say.
I forgot how fast he was.
I think if Luke Shaw plays 90 minutes, which I'm sure they weren't going to do that fresh off of injury, I think Luke Shaw might have been in bonus points because he was close. He was already at a high bonus point threshold, and he got taken off at 72
Hey,
minutes.
let me ask you this. Apart from the red card, who would you rather own? Reece James or Luke Shaw?
I would have Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, no question.
Apart from the red card, oh, come on.
All right.
No question about it, Luke
Ryan,
Shaw.
Everton, you could argue going into this match, had more startable fantasy players.
We were ready to put Everton in the top 10.
I know.
It did not.
I'm just saying.
Did not happen here. I didn't.
Mikolenko, Tarkowski.
How many shots did Mikolenko have?
Brian, your boy
A lot.
Decore.
Calvert-Lewin had at least 5. It was
Everton took 24 shots in this match.
It was a
24 shots.
It was a peppering.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And yet they lost 3-0.
Mikolenko.
Yeah, it was very, very lopsided.
Mikolenko hit woodwork. He actually took 4 shots here. I just told you, Mikolenko's second in shots for the season behind Matty Cash, and Matty Cash was best by a distance
you go to
for
him?
a while. No, I don't think so.
They're at Forest, home Newcastle, home Chelsea, at Burnley, at Spurs, home City in their next 6.
You're not. I mean, home Newcastle's not great, but at least they get them at home. It's a little better. Chelsea, you're not. I'm not. I don't.
Who knows what great Chelsea plays in the wildest games.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at Chelsea as any kind of danger. At Burnley is the best fixture that there is, and then at Spurs is open. It's an open game. So whether they can withstand what.
Are you
whatever
selling Decore?
I don't have the.
I thought he was going to whip one out that far post. It was like a foot wide. Ugh! It looked like he was going to.
If I was on a wild card or something, yeah, I probably would sell him just because I have the money to move him to someone better,
useful.
Yeah, or someone more useful, or move him down. He's still, like I said, there are players less than him now that either less than him or the same price that I think offer more. And I'm saying that knowing that when he has a good game, it's a really good game.
Would you rather own Mikolenko or Udogie?
I don't think I'm buying Udogie.
Okay, Udogie. I mean, I own him. His ownership is at 10%. I'm looking at it like he's on the end of my bench at the moment. I just can't find a transfer for him.
They talked at one point about subbing him out for Eric Dyer. It looked like he was having an issue. So it was an announcement during the match where it was said that Udogie was coming off, that they were preparing a change. Eric Dyer's coming on. Udogie is the one coming off. And then he signaled to the bench to say, I'm okay. And he ended up playing the rest of the game.
Porro did the same thing. They were ready to bring Porro off, move Emerson over to the Emerson. Yeah,
probably
Emerson out wide, and then bring Dyer into the middle. Both of them were struggling with something at some stage. But the question with Porro always is he actually hurt or is he just playing it up? Because he just flops like nobody's business, drives me up the wall.
I'm punch that guy right in the face.
Oh my gosh, so much. The match where he is trying to waste time by laying in the box. He's like whining and whining and whining
Was
and
it the
whining.
Liverpool
And then
match?
he looks up at the stands, winks and smiles, and then lays around some more. Like, that drives me up the friggin' wall. Like, he's clearly, obviously playing for something. That
That's
makes me
fun.
nuts.
That's so fun.
so-
Isn't that fun?
If
Pretty sure-
he's your guy, sure.
Is this pod advice? No, don't make a move for any United player, and don't make a move for any Everton player at the moment.
Fernandez is
this
the
pod
only one.
advice?
The only one that's fixture proof.
Even with
other
that
than
schedule,
that.
you wouldn't care. Would you own Fernandez?
Yeah, I would consider it.
I didn't ask if you'd consider it. Would you own him? Is he worth you looking at selling someone to bring him in? Does it feel like he's a must?
He's a little
own?
expensive. No, he's not a must own. He's a little expensive for what he's returning, but I'm paying attention to what he's doing because, to Brian's point, he is pretty fixture proof and he is contributing. If he was back on pens, I
think he is. I just think I think that was purely, if you want to, like, whatever you think about him, that was leadership? Question mark? I mean, honestly, like, that your guy, like, it's one of the most important players that you have in your attack who's gotten nothing repeatedly for a really long time. If you need someone to get started, it's got to be Marcus Rashford, and I think Bruno did a good job.
He's worth evaluating for moving to.
Would you rather own Hwang or Bruno Fernandes? Don't look at who has more fantasy points.
No, I'm looking at fixtures.
Okay.
Hwang, he's got Arsenal, Burnley, Nottingham Forest. Burnley and Nottingham Forest are at home too, so I think the fixtures are better for Wolves.
All right.
Even though they're
so would you rather own Bruno Fernandes or Sterling?
I think Fernandes, and I've owned Sterling this year.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think it's Sterling for me. Brian,
it's enough of a price difference. Sterling's.
That's a fair point because ultimately owning Fernandez doesn't mean you just move to Fernandez. You're gonna have to sacrifice someplace else.
would you rather own Bruno Fernandes or Douglas Luiz?
That's a weird one.
Because I can promise you, one guy is higher in the table than the other.
I mean,
And
Luiz is definitely
$2.8 pound cheaper.
Yeah, the issue is that Villa's fixtures are not great.
They're fine,
and I think Bruno is more likely to do better.
United's fixtures are pure crap. Villa's fixtures are okay.
They're okay.
Anyways, all right.
I think Fernandez is fixture proof.
I was trying to prove that I think Bruno Fernandes, especially for the price, is still crap.
I do like Brunandez.
I like Brunandez.
That's his new name.
I'm a little surprised that he is as high. I mean, he is 12th for midfielders.
Yeah.
But just look at the guys above him that are cheap.
What I was going to say, the fact
not wrong.
the fact that you have 3 sub $6 midfielders who are in the top 10 in scoring,
sick.
Makes every decision that you make a little more challenging. And then it's the fact that there's no, like, Son is way up there. He's where you expect him to be. Son is second in midfielder scoring. Salah is where you expect him to be. He's first in midfielder scoring. So, like, the fact that Saka cooled off, and it's entirely because all he's doing is creating for whatever reason. So I think Saka can get back up there. You like that? Everybody else, like, it's just you could roll every name after the top 3. You could put the names in a hat and pull them out at random, and you'd probably be okay with any 3 names you pulled out after that.
All right, Brighton 3, Forest 2. Brighton, goals from Ferguson, and then João Pedro makes a comeback here. And Anthony Elanga gets on the board, and Morgan Gibbs-White gets on the board for Forest. 3 penalties in this match. Oh, my gosh. Here we go. There was a little fire in this match.
You want to do Nottingham Forest is only, like, it's back-to-back returns for Gibbs-White.
I'm only bringing this up because Ferguson, you had mentioned Ferguson last
Yeah,
pod.
cool. It turns out that he's not really knocked. Of course he's fine.
Right.
Of course he's going to play.
And then
of course he scores a goal.
The preseason favorite starting low-end striker was João Pedro, and it just felt like, I don't know where he's been. I guess he's made his return. If
No,
only
he
there
made
was
the
a way.
bench because he's unreliable, and they have 15 attacking players, and he's
Yeah.
rotating on occasionally. And when he's out there, he's
Exactly.
the designated penalty taker. Like he even got in. I mean, he got in. What was it last week? Because someone
He
got
plays
injured.
13 minutes.
He came in this.
I'm sorry, he played 69 minutes for
Yeah,
you.
he
Right,
came in
this
after
week
13
He
minutes.
started this week.
Right, he started this week.
He subbed in the last 2 weeks.
Right, I'm saying like
No, he came on at the 21st minute for Brighton.
yeah, because of an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. So
Yeah, he
that,
played 69. Oh, he didn't start. I see what you. I see.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, he did not
Gotcha.
start.
I'm just
Gotcha.
saying, like, he's the fourth most transferred in for forwards. I might be more surprised that he's 8.6% select. I feel like that's
There's
crazy.
some dead teams in there, man. Travis, that's some.
Whatever, buy him. I just like
No,
do what you want with that guy.
Right.
Evan
he's-
Ferguson's way
he's
more to
scoring,
me is
yeah.
way more reliable. That just like we just said,
But it's a price thing, right?
for Brighton, I don't think anyone's reliable on that team except Pascal Gross. I can't even believe I'm saying it.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying it is because, first of all, he's going to play 90 minutes just because of what he does for them. He's going to play every game, and then when he's good, like look, he's creative. He was injured, came back from injury in game week 8. I'll just pull that number arbitrarily because that's when he started starting again. Created 12 chances since game week 8, which is tied for 5th best among midfielders. Like penalty area entries, we've talked about that before, but just like actions that go into the box, into the penalty area. He's in the top 5 in everything. Plus, he takes all their free kicks. Like it's his numbers are weird though because he has 3 assists since game week 8 from an expected assist of 0.65. So like kind of overachieving. He's created 0 big chances, which I find really odd.
that is really
For a guy that is taking free kicks, that is
Yeah.
very odd.
And
he must not be very good at
He's
it.
taken 5 shots, 0 shots on target. You're not getting anything attacking wise. It's sparing to get a goal return from Pascal Gross, but. Like, look, you'll take 2 assists from someone like that. I think it's just somebody in that attack, like when they're flowing in a goal-scoring game, like just because of how much he's providing, I think your chances of getting a goal from him are good.
You bringing him in?
No.
You bringing him in?
No.
Are you bringing anyone in on Forest?
I'm
or
just
Brighton?
saying, look, I was saying Gibbs White, 7 shots,
No.
was the number 1 player for shots this week, Morgan Gibbs White.
Okay.
In more fairness, he's taken 25 total shots this season. So, yes, 30% of his season's shots came in this one game.
It's interesting.
Go ahead and get him for this upcoming run, I guess. Everton, Fulham, Wolves, Tottenham, Bournemouth. That's 5 decent games. It's the same reason that everyone went to Chris Wood going into this game. Chris Wood, of course, who took 1 shot in his 62 minutes on the pitch. I just don't know why you're doing anything with a Nottingham Forest player.
Okay.
Like for that price, I just don't know why you're not. Too many other accessible, startable players in that range.
Agree completely. All right, next match. Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
But have fun with it. This game's supposed to be fun.
Have fun.
Thank you.
This is fun.
Thanks for
Do
that
you
reminder.
think that Morgan Gibbs White is a fun guy?
I'm only
Sometimes.
bringing up this match
Get him in your
because
team then.
Palace loses, Luton wins. Luton doesn't get many wins. And Brian,
No,
Eze goes out with an
Dave,
injury.
I disagree with you. Everyone loses because Eze
Eze,
got hurt
I know.
again.
That's where I was trying to lead you to. Eze gets hurt in the match. Michael Elise gets on the
Hey,
that guy can play. Great goal from Elise.
back.
Assist Joel Ward. But Palace lose 2-1. And that stinks. I just don't think there's much
It sucks I can't get
no
those
one's
guys
going
on
to
the field
Elise.
together.
No one's going to Elise yet, I don't think. I need to see him do a little bit more. Even though Brian Eze is down and out.
Elise is magic, and he showed you why he's magic. What Crystal Palace also showed you is what happens when you lose your actual best player, Eze, and then you lose your best defensive midfielder, Czech Doucouré. You lose both of those guys in the, basically at the same time.
Yeah.
So It seemed like the concern was greater, not just from Roy Hodgson, not just for the severity of the injury, because it looks like it's long term. He was on crutches. He was walking really gingerly. There's no way he's coming back anytime soon. But it seemed like even Crystal Palace, as a fan base, was more concerned that losing Decore was way worse for, I think, what they do team-wise for a team that's already dealing with a lot of, has dealt with a lot of injuries here. Like Elise, the thing that was really encouraging is that he obviously took it on himself. He scores an unbelievable goal. He took 5 shots. So that's the one thing kind of in games where Eze didn't, even when Eze was the only guy, he wasn't necessarily doing that.
Yeah.
He's shooting a lot, but there were games where they were like wild shots, or they were blocked or whatever, and so he had a big volume but not a lot of accuracy. And I don't think Elise, I think you saw what, I just feel like the value, I'm not saying he's better than Eze for that, but I don't think it's that crazy. It would be a hard move. It'd be a hard move to make.
No, I hear you. All right, quick fire these last 3 matches. I'm going to read out the score lines, and you can pick what you want, Travis. You can start it off. Brian, you can finish it with what you want to discuss. West Ham 2.
I think I kind of changed my mind on that, because the next 2, part of the reason why you were going to, either Palace defenders, any of the Palace attackers, let me amend. It's at West Ham and home Bournemouth. That was the end. This run of fixtures was as good as it got. There was four really good fixtures in a row for Palace, and now Luton, losing to Luton is the worst news that you could have. At West Ham, okay, not crazy. That's still a bit of the minorest London derby, but still, it's still there's some competition there. And then they're home to Bournemouth, so you do like that, and I wouldn't.
I agree.
Man, 5.8 for Elise is tempting, but I don't think I'm going there.
Quick fire. West Ham 2, Burnley 1, Fulham 3, Wolves 2, and Bournemouth 3, Sheffield 1. We can start with the Bournemouth or just be quick fire here. Tavernier gets on the score sheet with 2 goals from Adam Smith and assists from Adam Smith and Semenyo, and then Justin Kluivert gets on the score sheet. Ollie McBurney. Fulham Wolves seem to be fun. Iwobi gets in the score sheet. Willian gets a couple pens. Cunha and Hwang.
I think the names you just read, you want to talk about why this was such a fun week. I think that's
so
why.
Bunch of random people scored.
Jay Rodriguez outscored Erling Haaland. I feel like that's all you need to know about how fun of a week this was. Read through the list of the top scorers from this week. It's like looking in a Funhouse mirror when you're dressed like a clown.
Or just look when I look in the mirror every day.
Tavernier, top scorer.
Yeah.
Willian. So a total of 0.5% selection on those 2 guys. Pedro, Anthony Gordon's your highest score. Dallo is at 3.9. Gibbs White, 1.4%. Martial.
It's the biggest team of the week joke ever.
Kluivert. Every name you just said. I don't know that you're doing. Semenyo is the one guy from that he's going to keep. To me, if he keeps getting minutes, he'll keep coming up because when he's playing, whatever he seems like he's capable of getting you something. You're not doing anything with anyone from Bournemouth except for Solanke anyway. Dave, the guy, I think it was West Ham. It was kind of the only thing, and even with West Ham, there's really only kind of 2 people worth talking about. Kudus.
Okay. Yeah. Kudus,
so you did get an Areola masterclass here because you got you a 3. And not a 2 or a 1.
Okay.
So you really, that's
I'll
awesome.
take that.
No, Kudus is 6.6, 2.6% selected. Like we said, just 4 straight starts for him. In those 4 starts, he is your 5th best midfielder. So he's tied for 5th most points since he's started here. 3 assists.
Okay.
And obviously 2 of them are here. One of them is an FPL assist. He's taken 7 shots. That's not great. 1 big chance is whatever. created 6 chances. Like the pure numbers for him aren't great. It's just that he looks awesome.
Yeah.
When he's play. So he's one of those guys where like it's kind of like Doku has some numbers. It's his minutes that are the problem.
Right.
Like Kudus has like the eye test, and he has the minutes. It's just like his actual end product. Like I might do a Dave Smith here and just say, yeah, he just got his like 2 assists against Burnley.
Right.
You know, like this was not. It shouldn't have been 2-1.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Actually, Tavernier's better on paper in the last. I mean, Tavernier's one big return this season was this week, and his numbers overall are better than Kudus. It's just that
that's weird.
It's just that it's Bournemouth,
Sheffield.
Right? No, Jared Bowen game time decision. I don't know why. Like, why get rid of him?
I don't
bought
know.
him for this.
I know, but I just spent the transfer. I didn't take a negative.
I don't know how he's an orange triangle when he was a game time decision. If he's close enough to where they're thinking about it, that's
there is
weird.
nothing out there. Anything that you can find, it's someone downplaying the severity of it. Doctors weighing in on West Ham blogs talking about how if this was worse, we would have known about it.
I just need him to be on the pitch.
Sure, everyone wants that. We all want that, Dave.
And Mbuemo's playing like Luton next week or something.
If you have to make a choice between the two of them, if it's one or the other, then yeah, just get Mbuemo. If you already have your other midfield
My other
spots,
midfielders are Saka, Douglas Luiz, Salah, Palmer, and Bowen.
Okay.
You're not in a bad spot.
No, it's fine. It's good. Got me top scorer in the mini league.
You just might have to play Matty Cash this week instead of Bowen if he doesn't play.
Yeah, for Aston Villa to lose 3-0 to Bournemouth, it's going to be awesome.
Probably happen. Cash has got me nothing as long as I've owned him. As far as I can tell, although I have made a little money on him.
I don't know. You're probably not doing anything with this either. Thomas Souček, back-to-back goals. He's capable of doing that. He already did that once earlier in the season, game week 7 and 8. I don't think you're buying it. The one thing with Souček, which was a wild stat to me.
So funny.
So he missed a little bit of time there, like a game and a half. He had a little injury. Since he came back after that injury, game week 5, he has had 8 big chances to score. He's tied with Mo Salah for most big chances since game week 5.
That's unreal.
8. The guy could have had 8 goals, not 4 goals.
Come on, Tomas. Make yourself fantasy relevant. Let's talk about you. Get her done. All right.
Head like a matchstick.
That's no doubt. All right. Anything from the Fulham Wolves match other than
it was a fun game?
That was all the action.
Right.
All the action was saved for the last game of the week.
Cunha gets it. Hwang gets on the score sheet. No one's owning Iwobi or Willian.
Cunha, first of all, just rule him out right now. It was his 3rd goal this season, his 5th overall return for the season. The only thing you can say about Cunha is that his minutes are reliable. He has started every game this season.
Yeah.
He is 6th in forward minutes from the start of the season. That is it. He is 1.3% selected. There are better players for 5.5. Great that he got a goal, and if you want to count on a guy who is definitely going to play at least up to this point, Cunha is your guy. That's the best things you can say about him.
You're wasting $1 though, because Archer's.
Yeah, to me, I think you're doing that. I don't know, Dave. Are you not? You're not thinking about Willian?
No. Hell no.
You're not even.
All right, give us the reason why you think we should be. You can't even get it out.
So,
are you just trying to troll me here?
Big run of starts for Willian started in game week 5. 8th best midfielder for scoring, so 45 points since game week 5. Tied with Bowen and Bernardo Silva, 2 more points than Brian Mbuemo.
Since match week 5.
That's interesting.
21.
You have my attention.
21 shots since game week 5, which is tied for 4th most for midfield.
But he plays for Fulham.
That's the problem. Yeah. 10 shots on target for Willian since game week 5, which is third best for midfielders. Like, it's not... It matters more now that you know he's on PKs. He takes free kicks. It's not crazy. You tell me who a crazy choice is. I don't know that there is one. Willian for sure. Like like if you're one of the 0.4% of people who had him this week, you're screaming.
Tom Kearney's a crazy pick.
Yes, that is a crazy pick.
You asked for a crazy pick. It's fair.
Anyone with the word Brown in their last name as a midfielder.
Brownhill.
Okay.
Yes.
Crazy.
Josh Brownhill.
All right, fair. I will hear that and say fair.
It's the schedule's horrible. They're going to get shelled by, I don't know, at least 5 of the teams that they play for the rest of the calendar year. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth, Arsenal. You don't trust them in any game.
No.
Defensively, you can't count on them.
That Burnley match at home would be all right.
Yeah. At least they get Nottingham. I mean, Nottingham Forest at home, fine. Burnley at home, fine. At Bournemouth, fine, I guess. But all the rest of them, I don't think you want them. You don't want him for that. But he is 5.3. It's He Chan. That's the guy that matters here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Huang.
I agree. We've been talking about him for weeks, and that at this point will continue.
Good job if you already have him. I wouldn't buy him this game week because they play you guys.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't bother with it. But after that, look, Wolves go home Burnley, home Nottingham Forest, at West Ham, home Chelsea, at Brentford, home Everton to close out the year. I think he's a great buy after Arsenal. If you don't have him.
Okay.
I think also, like we talked about, Neto, who knows? Neto should be back around that time.
I love it. Look, we haven't given an update on our podcast league, so I just want to quickly go through that. League Nerdstradamus Wrexham League. That's the name of the team. League Michelle Nerdstradamus Wrexham. Still in first place by 9 points over Rockabye Angel by League Shen.
Okay.
And then followed up in third, Sun Sail Away by League Bo, who tends to hang around the top of our podcast league and continue to make. He had a good week, 57. Not as good as me, Ben. Excellent week, though. I had 60.
Thanks for adding that.
Look, in fifth place in League Josh, you know who I'm talking about. Why always me? I know you listen. I wanted to send you a text today. Slide into my DMs. Find me on Twitter. I wanted to shoot you a text today because I wanted to chat you up for a few things. So, anyways, I wanted to, number one, congrats on being fifth in the podcast league. Excellent work. You're obviously not listening to us, which is perfect. But congrats. And so, anyways, I wanted to kind of go through that. Hey, look at me. Look at down to number 18 in the podcast league. It's me creeping up.
Good job, Dave. Cracking the top 20.
Me creeping up, Brian. I haven't been this close to you in a while. I'm 11 points behind you, so don't get too nervous over there.
Listen, man.
Slowly creeping up. Travis, you're not far behind me either. We're both kind of climbing this ladder.
We said it a few weeks ago. The point totals are so tight.
They're super
honestly
tight.
you have one like you have this week, Dave. You have one really good week,
I know.
And everybody else has a bad one.
It's true.
You're right in the thick of it again.
Which also just goes to show you that when everyone else over the last 5 weeks have been having good weeks, I wasn't. So, it's
good enough.
I got to take my good week when I can get it. So in all of your faces, I won't have them often. All right. Anything else we've missed? This is your last shot to throw a barb in there.
No.
All right, Travis.
We covered. I'm serious. We literally talked about every single thing.
Okay.
And we did it with speed. We're
look
good
at
on
us.
time.
No, there's
us.
probably something we missed.
I knew it. I knew you would go there. All right, listen. I'm pumped about this weekend.
Alex Moreno. We talked
Arsenal
about him.
will continue to be.
We even got to Alex Moreno.
We did. We talked about a player who hasn't played all season. That is fantastic. We have absolutely critical content on this pod. Obviously, we need to end it.
Oh, I know what I wanted you to do.
I knew it.
No, I wanted you to say why. Like we said, Ben White already out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Saliba seems to be the most reliable choice for you guys, But Zinchenko's the number one defender transfer in.
Crazy.
So
Crazy
So
town.
that's what I'm saying. Like he's he's a tempting choice because in good games like this week he's your number one bonus point getter.
Okay. So I will say this: there's a good chance home Wolves at Luton. He will at minimum start the next 2 games.
Okay, but I guess so. Then the next thing is like Gabriel.
But it's not guaranteed.
But Gabriel is there. He's still hanging around.
Yeah.
Are you nervous about him necessarily starting or not starting?
No, Gabriel will be starting.
Okay, so then when you'd say Saliba 1, Gabriel 2, are you?
I would normally say Ben White 2.
Okay, so if you see Ben White back in training,
He doesn't have a triangle.
right? Ben White, I thought was
He
maybe
played 1 minute. He subbed
So
in.
he
the
did
end,
come on, right?
He subbed
He came
on in
on
the
this
end
week.
of this match.
right. So he's fit.
He is playing next match. It is Saliba 1, Ben White 2 on the team sheet.
So you're saying Gabriel, you would say Ben White over Gabriel.
Yep.
If money's not a problem for
Yep.
you. Are you ranking Tomiyasu anywhere on there?
Tomiyasu and Zinchenko will be the same. I don't know who's going to start. It seems like Tomiyasu gets to start when we play a team where we have to be more critical defensively, and then when we play a team where we're going to dominate the ball, it's Zinchenko. So
Okay.
Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, I would say are in that order. Saliba, Ben
And they're
White,
worth
Gabriel.
the extra price. Well, Gabriel, I think Gabriel's a bit of a discount, definitely compared to
It is
Saliba.
now. He's 4.9.
Right.
So, yeah, and he's cheaper than Zinchenko.
Right. Now that Zinchenko's priced up. That's why that was the last, like.
Gabriel did not start the first match of the season. And then he did not play against Fulham, and he did not play against Sheffield. He started every other match.
Right. Yeah, everybody we've mentioned him a million times. I just want to make sure, like, as we're like, because
If money's an issue and you can get to someone, go to Gabriel.
Okay.
If you can get to Saliba or Ben White, I'd do that.
Not Zinchenko.
So Saliba's 5.5. I would not. I just don't know if he's starting. Yeah, he got a goal this week, or no, he did not get a goal.
No, he just
He
got
got a goal
he
last
just got bonus
week.
point. Yeah, he scored the great
And he
goal
got
last
3
week.
bonus points this week.
Right.
I mean, it's tough to ignore that. I just, as good as those scores looked, that 19 in the last 2 weeks, and then honestly in the last 4 weeks, 8-1, 10-9, those look like huge numbers. I don't trust the starts.
Those are Diogo Dallo numbers.
Just about. I just don't trust them. And I'm watching it. I love it, but I don't trust it.
That's even slightly better than Harry Maguire.
Slabhead.
No, that's it. That's
All
I
right.
just want just because people are going crazy for Zinchenko, and I just want to make sure that
I get it.
it's a sensible choice based on results. It's just a question of how much can you count on that as a lineup lock compared to Saliba.
I don't like non-lineup locks in my defense.
Okay,
Is that fair?
of course it's fair.
All right. For the FP America podcast, unless I've missed anything else,
Oh, you have, I'm sure.
this is David Smith. Until next time.